The president's senior advisor, Elon Musk, set to audit the nation's largest government agency in the coming days, with the administration already asking military leaders to come up with lists of potential cuts. NewsNation's Joe Khalil live in D.C. Joe, with more on what those cuts could mean potentially for our national security.
So we're going to learn more about this, Nichole, today as Senate Republicans take really the first major steps in what will be the shell of the bill that ends up moving forward President Trump's biggest priorities when it comes to spending. And a lot of that is going to have to deal with not just border policy and not just energy policy, but national defense. And this comes as you mentioned, new Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is saying that the Pentagon should be able to find something in the range of $50 billion within its $800 billion budget to find either cuts or, in his words, offsets, which would, again, provide back some funding to the federal government. So that in itself is going to be a challenge. That is not an insignificant number that we're talking about. We don't have exact things that they have said that they would cut specifically, but that is the ultimate goal there, is $50 billion. Interestingly, this may be an area where there is potentially some bipartisan support. We have heard Democrats in the past talk about the need to scale down the funding for the Pentagon, the budget there overall. We've also seen some Republicans in the past oppose cuts to the Pentagon budget. So now that it's the Trump administration putting these goals forward, it could really make for some interesting bedfellows and allies here in terms of seeing who is going to be for this and who is going to oppose it. Earlier today, we did talk to some senators on both sides of the aisle, Nichole. Effectively, what they have said is that they want to see what the details are, and we don't know what those things are yet. Secretary Hegseth has put forward a list of exemptions of things that he says will not be cut, but everything else seems to be subject to that. So we will find out in, we think, short order here, what those cuts might specifically look like.
All right, so Joe, NewsNation also getting a major scoop last night. This is about military medical units being deployed to Guantanamo Bay. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, so this was something we reported out first. Congressman John Garamendi, a Democrat from California, who serves on the House Armed Services Committee, sending a letter to Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth over some concerns that some medical military units that are typically staged at military bases in the U.S. and serve service members there. And we're talking about medical professionals like potentially OBGYN even, or pediatricians. Some of them are going to now be deployed to Guantanamo Bay as early as this weekend, even for a stint of anywhere from 3 to 6 months. Congressman Garamendi raised serious concerns about that, saying mostly that he feels it may end up impacting military readiness. He had a list of concerns that he sent to Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. We have not yet gotten any response from the Pentagon on those concerns, but certainly a major deal and something that we're going to be watching. We know that there have been people within some bases around Congressman Garamendi's home district. Not sure yet how far that goes and whether there are several others around the country, but certainly, again, something that we're going to be keeping our eye on in the coming days as Secretary Hegseth visits Guantanamo Bay.
Absolutely. All right, Joe Khalil live for us there in D.C. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.